I've worked on over 100 funnels for coaches and generated over 1 million in sales for clients. And today I'm going to be showing you the exact scaling system that you'll need to go from 0K per month to 100K per month with your coaching offer, no matter what niche you're in. This same exact funnel scaled my client, Zach, from 0 to 30K per month in 2 months. Ryan from 35K to 82K within 45 days. Luca from 0 to 125K in 90 days. And finally, Joe from 0 to 100K in 30 days. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to show you some results right here, some screenshots of the stripes, with the WAP dashboards. As you can see right here, Zach, 10.8x ROAS on his ads. So we spent about 1.8K and we got about 28K, I think, return, or 29K. 100K launch for the real estate for Joe. And then we did about 54K in 10 days for a trading offer. Here you can see about 125K for the trading offer. We did about 82K, some from 35K with Ryan for his business coach. And then we did about a 15.4K in a single day as well. Okay, here are just some results. And now I'm going to be presenting to you guys the difference of a traditional funnel that you might see online and the growth circus ecosystem that I'm going to introduce you guys. So typically, how a traditional funnel works is you have cold ads, you run it to a VSL. So people watch a 10 to 15 minute VSL where they kind of get hard sold on the offer. And then they book a call if they're interested. Probably the drop off rate between the cold ads to them actually booking a call is pretty high. And at this point, guys, cost per booked call is anywhere between 200 to 300 bucks, or sometimes even more, like 500 bucks if you're selling a high ticket. Okay, so cost per booked call is pretty expensive for traditional funnels. And then they get into a post booking nurture sequence. That's through emails. So bunch of emails and text messages. Okay. So it could be 24 hours, 12 hours, 6 hours, just spamming them with case studies and results and case studies and reminders, okay, to get them to show up to the call. Now that they actually show up to the call, right? This is, by the way, the timeline and the sales cycle for a traditional funnel is probably like 3 days or even less, right? From the first day that they see the ad to the third day they get booked on a sales call, they're already trying being sold to. Okay, so with a traditional funnel, it's very pushy, right? Pushy. You're trying to convince a lot of people to a lot of convincing that needs to be done. It's very pushy, and people are very cold, okay, on these calls because they just saw you. They saw you from a cold ad. They don't know anything about you. So they don't know anything about you. They don't really know anything about your company. And then they don't really know anything about the product that you sell. Okay. So there's a lot of uncertainty. And in order for people to buy from you, right, they need to know, like, and they need to trust you. They need to say yes to 3 things. They need to say yes to you as a sales rep, say yes to your product, and say yes to the company. Okay. And really, with this whole funnel, it doesn't really achieve any of that. All they're really saying yes to is the outcome. Okay. So they're really being sold on the outcome that they're going to get. And typically, when you're only sold on the outcome, there's a lot of fear and uncertainty. Okay. Because they're not bought into who you are, the company, the product. Now, okay, so what happens after the sales call if you don't close? If you don't close, it just goes straight to the bin. Or, there might be some nurture sequences, could be like a 7-day nurture sequence, and then they're out of your ecosystem. Like, they're out. Like, after you don't close them, this lead is wasted. They're gone. Okay. So with this funnel, that's why with a traditional funnel, the cost of running these type of funnels is very high. The ROAS usually is pretty low as well. Okay. But the only thing good about these funnels is that you get a quick return on your money. Okay. So that's the traditional way of running a funnel. It's pushy. You have to convince, do a lot of convincing, and there's a lot of cold leads. Now, one thing in marketing that I want to introduce to you guys is called the 7-11-4 rule. Okay. This is a study done by Google. In order for a stranger to convert into a paying customer and to buy from you online, they need to watch 7 hours of your content across 11 touch points on 4 different platforms. Okay. This funnel does not meet any of these like requirements at all, right? 7 hours of content. You're not going to watch 7 hours of content. You can try, right, to watch 7 hours of your content, but you know, max you're probably going to watch is maybe a couple like 30 to an hour long case studies combined with all these sequences. So really with this funnel, they don't know you. They don't really know who the owner is or the creator. They don't really like them because they haven't built enough, I guess, connection yet with them because of so little content that they've seen from them. And there's no trust at all, right? All we're really banking on is the fact that our VSL has to be really, really good and really convincing, and that the outcome that we are getting them is really high, and that there's a bunch of guarantees that we're putting behind. Okay, so selling to these leads are very difficult. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's definitely possible, and there's a bunch of 7 to 8 to 9 figure companies who are running a traditional funnel, but that's so different, right? From 0 to 100K, I want to introduce you guys to the growth circuit ecosystem. Growth circuit ecosystem is so different from a traditional funnel where it's just a funnel, right? You're pushing them down the funnel. They have nowhere to go. They have absolutely nowhere to go with this funnel. They can't get out. Okay, they can't have a look at who you are, look at your products, have a look at your background, know a little bit about your values. No, it's just a push down the funnel, right? You're literally holding them by their hand, dragging them into the sale. Okay, and you're kind of being pushy, right? You either close, you don't close, you're done. Okay. So that's the funnel compared to a growth ecosystem. I'm going to explain it to you real quick what that ecosystem looks like, especially the growth circuit ecosystem. This is a term that I've made, by the way, so no one else has termed this yet. And basically, this is how it goes, right? Number one, you need attention. Without attention, you cannot get leads, you cannot get money. In 2025, attention is the main currency. Where attention flows, money flows. So, how do you actually get attention? Well, primarily you can use short form content, right? Either I would say mainly Instagram, but you can also use TikTok. And sometimes you get some attention, of course, from YouTube. But mainly we want to use top of funnel Instagram to get you eyeballs. And how do we do that with our top of funnel content? This is the type of content, by the way, attention, value, authority. So with attention, you can do lifestyle based content with maybe some flashy lifestyle content to show off, I guess, sort of what you do, right? Film some of like POV styles to show the lifestyle that you're living from the money you're making, some humor content to get more attention. Of course, this is all related to your niche, and then some controversial content so that people are maybe spamming in the comments, right, to get you more views. So that's top of funnel content. Top of funnel content, I would recommend probably just post like 20% of the time. Okay. Middle of funnel content is probably the most important type of content that you will have to create. And trust me, like you should listen to this because you're gonna have to do a lot of this, a lot of middle of funnel content to value. So it's value-based content where you educate your audience. You educate your audience on your beliefs, on your values, on the way you think and your perspectives. Okay. And then you try to shift your audience's beliefs to the beliefs that they need to have in order to buy your program. Okay. So middle funnel, mainly this type of content is just to nurture. Nurture. It's like putting, how do I say this? It's like slow cooking. So those slow cookers? It's like slow cooking the food. Okay. This is not a quick fry or it's not grill, right? It's very slow cooking. Like aging, right? Dry aging or just aging the food and slowly cooking it and warming it up, right? We're not doing any selling here. We're just providing tons of value, tons of education, tons of new perspectives, new belief shifts. Okay. And really the whole point of this and Instagram is also push it to your YouTube. Okay. I'll talk about bottom of funnel as well, but this is very related to the YouTube, right? Because in your bio of your Instagram and your TikTok, you're going to have your YouTube linked. And on your YouTube is where you do a lot of the magic of nurturing even more and more and more content, right? This is providing a lot more. You can do like, I would say like 10% top of funnel, 10% top of funnel content where you have some lifestyle content, you show off a little bit, get some attention, but 90% of your YouTube content will be middle of funnel content where you just give tons of value. Okay. And what works best on YouTube is just raw content, just like what I'm filming right now. Okay. And I've seen YouTube do really well. So for so many creators, like even without this short form ecosystem, just relying on YouTube, I've seen YouTubers or coaches with less than 2,000 subscribers making at least 50,000 per month. Insane. Absolutely insane, just from their content. So if we add this growth ecosystem with short form and we add the nurturing system, you get the attention, and then you add bottom of funnel content as well. So what bottom of funnel content is authority-based content. So this is any content that gives you more authority and credibility, and it shows off your expertise. So this could be case studies with your clients. Oh, this is how I help. So this is what I'm gonna do in the next couple of videos. I'm gonna film like a testimonial with one of my clients called Zach, how we went from 0 to 30K per month. This gives you a lot of expertise, gives you a lot of trust, right, with your audience. And then you have your client retreats and masterminds. This gives you tons of authority because it shows you with your actual real clients in person. And obviously being in person is way different than just like an online Zoom call. Okay, so this is bottom of funnel content. This is something that you can do with your YouTube as well. Okay, so I would say 80% is middle of funnel content, and then 15% is bottom of funnel, and then you have 5% top of funnel, okay, for your YouTube. And then here, value would be 70%, and then 10%, okay? So there we go. So this is exactly how it works. So you're nurturing them within your ecosystem, and the reason why this ecosystem works so well is because once you bring ads in, right, you have some ads. Once you bring ads in and just pour fuel into the fire, like to an already working ecosystem, you can scale to 100K per month so quickly. Okay. Now, however, with ecosystems, just not like funnels, right? It's more fluffy. Okay. Like there's a lot of stages that they need to go through, and the sales cycles are going to be longer with an ecosystem. But what you are sure is if you do have a strong ecosystem, none of your leads are leaving, and you're not losing any of your leads. Once your leads get into your ecosystem, they're constantly nurtured by you, right? So it really fulfills that 7-11-4 rule, right? Your YouTube really does its 7-hour part. And then of course they have a bunch of different touch points, whether via email, text. And then the point is people get to know you as a person better. They like you, and then they also trust you better with your ecosystem. Okay. Because they are just nurtured by you everywhere they see. And I'm going to break it down into more detail with this funnel right here. Okay, so that was just the overview, not a lot of details. Hope I'm not yapping too long, but should I show you the results now? Okay, let me first of all break down the funnel, and I'll show you the results. I should have probably done this earlier, but let's show you the funnel, how exactly it works. So number one, step one is attract. Okay, you can attract top of funnel through YouTube, IG, and then of course TikTok. Okay, but how do you, once you create a couple reels, I would recommend Instagram short form, you do about 3 reels a week, and then YouTube you do about once a week. Okay, now how do you actually automate this traffic? Because yes, you can still keep posting this, but if you want more attention, you want more money, you don't want to be stuck on the organic grind, you have to run ads. You just have to run ads. Okay, so ads, you either run IG, by the way, you run IG either DM ads, or you run follower ads. So I have an example of a DM ad right here, but I'm going to show you guys what it is. But basically DM ads is it's like an ad. It could be a picture ad or a story ad on Instagram, or even a video ad that prompts people to send you a message, right? It could be sending you a message for like a free resource, or it could be sending you a message for a direct offer of, hey, I can scale you to X to Y. Here's the outcome. If you want that outcome, message me the XYZ word. Okay. A follower ad is basically, could be a video ad, it could be a story ad, right? Or a static image ad. Basically prompts people to follow you on your Instagram. Okay. And this is a lot less, it's much of a less commitment from your audience. So I highly recommend starting with a follower ad to get people to just give you a quick follow, right, on your Instagram. So that's why it's so important. It's so important for your Instagram profile to be properly optimized, right? Your Instagram profile. And of course, I teach that in my program with my one-on-one clients, how to actually optimize your profile to get as many followers as possible so that, you know, you can convert. You can have a high conversion rate, a high converting Instagram page. So once people follow you, they become followers. They are in your ecosystem, absolutely in your ecosystem. In your bio of your Instagram, you have your YouTube link. Okay. But basically what happens here in the nurture phase, once they follow you, is they just get hit with your content, like a bunch of your content, your YouTube content on your Instagram bio, your Instagram content, middle of funnel content, TikTok content, and they just keep watching. They're just constantly inside your ecosystem, resonating with you, your beliefs, your perspectives. You're sharing that constantly, right? And yeah, they're just getting low key brainwashed a little bit into your beliefs, into how you view, their pain points, your solutions. If you have any controversial beliefs that you have, and yeah, that just helps them, to be honest, with this nurture phase. That just helps them a lot with getting to know, like, and trust you even more. Okay. And that's really the whole point of this nurturing system. Now, what was I going to say? Okay. And also, we have retargeting ads. Okay. With retargeting ads, what these ads do is once they visit your Instagram profile, right? So there's a couple of types of retargeting ads, but people who visited your Instagram profile for the past 3, 6, or even 12 months, it's a very cheap ad. Basically, you throw like an ad in front of them, in front of all these people that have interacted. For example, let's pick the 3 months. So it's an ad that you can show to people, all the people who have interacted with your Instagram profile, whether they've liked your post or even viewed your profile, and you just get in their face for 365 days, for the next 365 days. So every time they open their Instagram profile, all they see is your ads and they always see you. Okay. And I don't know if you guys know this like psychology, but basically when you see more of someone, you eventually like them more. Okay. I think it's called like Stockholm syndrome or something. But yeah, that's a retargeting ad that you can put on like $10 per day. And this is the key. This is literally the key of making this whole system work extremely, extremely well. Having a good retargeting ad. Now, one more thing over here in nurturing, even besides your content that we already talked about over here, your content, top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel content, value-based, attention-based, authority, right? You hit them with all this content, nurture them, get them to know, like, and trust you. You also want to do Instagram stories, right? These are really important. So Instagram is the most important platform for actually converting your leads. Okay. Instagram, you can convert them with stories. Story sequences are very important. So basically what story sequences are, or you guys know what stories are, but basically is a sequence of stories, just as the name says, that builds a lot of emotion, builds a lot of pain, emotions, hooks, right? They have a hook, pain, emotions, results, and then you do a CTA, a call to action at the end for people to DM you like a keyword, right? Scale, for example. That's what I use. Scale, okay? And then people DM you, and then you guys basically have a conversation. So how do you actually start off? That's how you start off. And then, of course, in your bio, in your IG, you have a DM me the word XYZ to get one-on-one help or whatever, okay? So this is how you get them in a convo, in the DMs. And convos, the more convos that you have, the more sales you're going to make, the more money you're going to make, okay? So the whole idea of this is to get more convos. And of course, in your YouTube bio, you also have either a Calendly link a Calendly link, or a DM me the word on Instagram link. Okay. So now that you have convos, how do you actually convert these convos into paying customers or high ticket customers? So convos in your DMs, you probably don't know much about what you're doing, but if you're doing about 20K, 30K, I highly recommend getting a setter. That's what I do for my clients. I implement DM setters for them. But basically, a very important part is the setting process. Okay. The whole point of this conversation in your DMs is to book them on a sales call with you. Okay. What you want to do in the setting process. Find out why they reached out to you. Where are they currently at? What are some of the pains and problems? Pains/problems that they are facing right now. Okay. And then where are their goals? And then once you kind of have an understanding of this, see if you can bridge that gap. Okay. Bridge that gap. And if you can, you tell them, okay, I think that a 45-minute Zoom call with me later down this week would probably help you out. And I know that I can help you get to XYZ, potentially help you get to XYZ. So we can hop on a call and see if I can help you dive a bit deeper into your situation. Would that help you? Right? You say that in the text, and the whole point of the setting process is to get them on a Zoom call, on a sales call. Okay. And I don't want to go through the whole sales process right here, but basically once you book them in, you get them on a WhatsApp, or now you just send them more resources. So you send them to YouTube. Make sure they watch your YouTube VSL. Okay, so you want to film a YouTube VSL. What that is a video sales letter. Basically, on this video sales letter, I cover this in the previous videos, I think, but you basically want to, the whole idea of it is just to convince them. Okay, convince them further, help them know, like, and trust you more. Show a lot of results, show that you understand their pain. You dig your knife deeper into the pain. Okay, so pain, agitate the pain. Show your unique mechanism, and then show a bit about your story, who you are, and then show about more mechanisms, more results, shift their beliefs, and then CTA. Okay, that's what you do in your YouTube VSL, and that's really important in this nurture process as well. Okay, so whenever you have conversations with people and they don't want to go through the setting process, send them the VSL, send them your YouTube case studies, send them more of your content. Get them to stay in your ecosystem so that you can keep nurturing them with you. Okay, so that is really how you convert. And then on the sales call, I'm not gonna dive too deep into it, but basically you just convince them. Not convince them, but you attract. Okay, you see, okay, where are they right now? Where are they right now? Where are they right now? Where are their goals? Can you bridge that gap? Yes. No. Yes. Then wonderful. This is what I can do. Okay, and then you present. And at the end of it, after you present, if they close, wonderful. Then you deliver really good results and you provide a lot of value. You maximize in the value that you bring to the table so that you can maximize the LTV of your clients. And that's how you actually scale from like 20K, 30K, all the way to 100K per month smoothly. Okay. So I know I just drew a bunch of pictures, but hope that ecosystem makes sense. Oh, and I can cover this real quick right here. As you can see, we ran some ad campaigns. We spent about $100 per day. We started on the 19th. And this is the example of the ad, a very direct offer ad, message me scale. Ran $100 per day. On the 19th, we got a lead, this lead right here. And then we booked the call the same day on the 20th. So the very next day we booked them. And then we send them a lot of resources on the Instagram page. And just guys, just so you know, Ryan has like 4K followers. When we started with him, he was at 2,500. And now he collected 82K in a single month. So you don't need a large audience with this ecosystem to properly work and to generate you a ton of cash. And then they actually no-showed on the 20th. And then they were rebooked by our setter that I implemented for them. And then a couple of days later, they closed for 5K paid in full. So far, when we started on the 19th, we closed them on like later, but we only spent $200 right from the 19th to the 20th. And then we had 6 messages, 2 messages, one call booked, that was a single call booked. And then basically we spent 100, but I just put 200. But $5,000 in return, $1 in, $25 out, 82K cash collected. Okay, guys, the proof is in the pudding. This ecosystem absolutely works really well with coaches who are trying to scale to 100K per month. If that's you, you want to scale to 100K per month and you sort of want my help with anywhere from the content, marketing, sales systems, building a sales teams, helping you guys with ads, and helping you guys scale like step by step with what I just covered, everything here, attracting, automating your lead flow, helping you nurture with proper content on YouTube and on Instagram, helping you guys with the marketing strategy, helping you guys do a lot of research on your content, actually converting them for you as well by implementing an A-player setter, and then eventually helping you craft a amazing offer. Hopefully you should already have one if you're at 20K-ish, 30K-ish. But if you don't, we can help you with that. We can help you with that as well. Okay. But really, the most important part here is I actually help coaches who want to help other people, like genuinely. So if that's you, you think that I can potentially help you get there, then feel free to book a call. First link down in the description. Or if you want to just have a chat and you don't want to get on a call, there's really no pressure, by the way, even if it's a call. But you can DM me on Instagram, chor_lee_ as well. Link in the description. We can have a chat, see where you're at right now. Like, it's not a setting process. It's just going to be me. It's not a setter. Just purely just to see if we're going to be a good fit and if I can actually help you, right? Get you to your goals. But other than that, yeah, I promise you, I'll leave you a lot better than when you first started. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. Ciao.